the other ones we paid a lot for. Now, if we could sell these for what we paid for the other ones, we'd be in pretty good shape.
Be even.
Don't
Yeah,
think
maybe
so.
even.
Don't think so, yeah, right, yeah.
Are we prepared to move on, or are we gonna,
Yeah, what is it? Did you get any message from us? Did you understand?
Got a lot of messages. Yeah, absolutely. I think the most important thing is to get back to you on the parcels that are shown here, and then make a number of other changes, including addition of certain properties, and deletion, and some changes to the form, which I think would be helpful to you going forward.
And then in
Yeah, we
relation to
can-
the specific requests, are we gonna move forward? Is the consensus to move forward on the Main Street, Juniper,
In Burrows?
and the Burrows Road, land swap to push forward on that as far as the, information from DPW and see if it makes sense to swap the land.
yeah, that's why I asked the question, were there any no's on the, 5 proposals? If there isn't, then, that means we're gonna push forward, get enough information to make, a decision.
Yeah. I'm in agreement with that.
I agree.
Let's see if we can get the Main Street done by Halloween. That's when he needs it. Really? Really? Get it back on the tax rolls by Halloween. That's a goal.
All right,
So if you want to listen to it.
okay. We have first reading of a policy, solicitation and acceptance of. Mr. Phillips?
Board members, Mr. Chairman, after your meeting 2 weeks ago, I did go back and revise this because what was lacking was inclusion of the language on fundraising. And originally the policy was written absent that, the language about seeking funds, seeking money or monetary donations. So what we did was we revised the policy. It would basically provide for any department that's engaged in efforts for acquisition of equipment, capital projects, programs, fundraising, et cetera, would need to consult with the town administrator and or the board of selectmen as necessary prior to engaging in those programs. And then would indicate that they would also be consistent with the efforts of the town. Another change that was made is page 2 and 6. There was a comment by the board that the town seal not be used in any fundraising or donation efforts without permission of town officials. So we include that language.
Joe had a
Yes,
comment on one.
Yeah, if I could, Mr. Valiakonis, it's just, on number 7, it would just, I feel it would be more benefit if you replace the word should with shall. Should leaves an awful, well, we should have done it, but we didn't, you know? And I don't know if you want to put something in there, say like quarterly, or, because it doesn't give a time either. You know what I mean? Shall be given to the town administrator through regular channels of communications quarterly. Just a suggestion.
I have, Joe, I have a suggestion on that same point. I have many ideas on this, but as it pertains to number 7, I agree with Joe. It should be shall. I think it should be periodic. I don't know if quarterly is too long, probably shorter, and at the request of the town administrator.
I think it needs to be, not so much with the town administrator, I think it needs to be more clearly defined. Whether it be, even if it just goes semi-annually, because, you know, you have annual fundraisers for police department and things of that nature. But if you make it a semi-annual reporting thing, you keep it in a queue, there's gonna be change in members of the board, possible change in administrations, things get lost, and if, you know, this town administrator has found, you know, if the previous town administrator got comfortable in the way that things were functioning and going, and all of a sudden, you know, 2.5 years into his tenure, he finds out something's going on. You had no clue, unless there's some sort of regular reporting mechanism that needs to be maintained.
Right.
Um,
Well, I don't think Sean was saying not to do that, was you?
I was saying at the direction of the town administrator.
In
and
addition to
Steve-
quarterly.
What I'm saying is,
or
I'd say that the direction of the board is to be done
Right,
on these intervals.
right.
Just because of you need the continuity and communication, some sort of mechanism to ensure that it's being followed.
And
Things like this kind of tend to fall off pretty quickly, pretty easily.
and I'd probably delete through the regular channels of communication, because that could change, depending on the makeup of this board, on town administrator change, or whoever's running the fundraising efforts from each department.
The only other thing that comes into play, and again, we do and we don't, we should have a say we don't, but I mean, there has been, I don't mean to pick on the police department specifically, but the police union is very active in raising funds for good causes and things. The fact still remains that police officers in the town of North Reading, and while it may be the union organization doing it, they're using on behalf of the North Reading Police Association. I just think we should be made aware as to what they're doing. Not that we can control it, but we may want to have some input. To date, what they've been doing is fine, pretty much over the years, when they run their wrestling activities and things like that. Those, entertainment programs. But many times, I hear citizens saying, oh, I got a call from the police department soliciting funds. And it's not the police department. And I know that they identify themselves appropriately, and they stress that it's on behalf of the police or benevolent association or whatever, but that's not what people are getting out of the message for the most part. And I think we have to be cognizant of it, they have to be cognizant of it, and I think we should be made aware of it. And the town of North Reading's name is being used. Somehow or another, we just need to make sure that when the town of North Reading's name is being utilized in support of whatever, department activity or, that, first of all, we're informed about it, the administrator knows about it, and that, if we have any concerns, we can express it early on, before it gets going, rather than in the middle or after it's taken effect.
After it appears in the paper.
Or appears in the paper. Something like that.
I guess I hear you, and I'm in support of something, but there are two pieces of this, and I'm beginning to wonder if they should have been separated out. One concern was our organizations, departments going out to solicit for grants and to bring in new programs. They get funded by a grant, and then in the end, we find out about it later. And there's a burden a year or 2 years out when these annual funds that hired a number of new employees all of a sudden dry up. And therefore, I think that requires information up front, what they're pursuing, what the purpose is, and to get a nod from the board associated with it. This fundraising thing is kind of a separate thing.
I agree.
Right. And we're trying to meld it into the
Yep, I agree,
One
they
policy.
probably should be separate. I agree, probably should be separate. Again, the grant thing is,
right. I
When
mean,
we first started with-
clearly, supporter grants.
right, we get some
Right.
seed money to get a program
And
going.
that's a town function, to bring funds into the town to run a program or whatever. And one, the board wants to support people doing it. At the same time, we need to take a look at it from the point of view of, are we getting ourselves into a corner and we're gonna spend more money than the grant is worth? Or is it something that doesn't fit our vision or goals, right, that we might wanna stop before it goes any further? this has got to do a lot with, it seems to me, fundraising programs that are not grants, but aimed at support organizations for our employees, which I think falls into a different category. And I agree that, if an organization or union is out raising money and using the town seal or implied that it's the town effort, town employees' effort, it can be very easily construed as something the town government is sponsoring. And therefore, I think we need a set of rules, which a piece of this was attempting to do.
I agree, like the Friends of the Council on Aging, they're doing a terrific job, and it's done, it's a separate group, but it really is done through, the senior center.
Well, there's a link with our
There's a definite link.
director of.
And we should be giving our blessing to those types of activities. But we should also be aware as to what they're doing, that's all, so that.
Well, it's hard to give a blessing to something unless we know what is
Right.
being done, so.
Right, so it's,
I don't know if this is
the
helping you,
library,
Greg.
the library support group, a whole host of things, the recreation group.
Short of separating this, because, I think the intent and the content is here. The issue is that, as I read it, is there ought to be another line item in here that, or a change to line items that assure that the town administrator is informed of what's going on in these various groups in some timely fashion.
So where
Because an ongoing one is, we've been doing this for years, so why do we need to go back and tell you about it?
Oh,
Is that what you were getting at?
I was unclear. Do you want him to combine the grant issue with this, or you're just talking about ongoing efforts that have gone on for years?
Ongoing efforts, I'm saying, take the grant thing and separate it out.
Okay, I agree.
So, Mr. Chair, we want organizations like the Friends of the Council on Aging and the Police Union to report to the town administrator on what they're doing? I don't think
When
that's
they
a-
are using the town seal, and when it can be construed as something that's sponsored by the town. Obviously, if you got an independent group and they wanna do something, we don't have control over that, we don't have a right to say yea or nay.
All right, 'cause that's where I was a little bit confused. Really,
I think the issue is that, you get a phone call or somebody asks you about something and you don't know about it because it's got nothing to do with us, but it's been construed by people as, something that's been sponsored by the
well, I understand if they're using the,
administrator or.
I understand if they're using the seal, but I don't know, if you just say this is the North Reading Police Union, I don't think we can really say anything about that. I don't know.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
I said if they're using the seal, I understand, but if they're just, if it's the North Reading Police Union, or the Police Benevolent Association, why should they have to tell Mr. Delaconis what's going on?
Because it wouldn't exist if it wasn't, if they were employees of the town of North Reading. And it's a reflection on the administration, depending upon the activities. And if there's nothing wrong with the activities, there's nothing wrong with keeping the administration informed.
Well, if it's a private organization, I don't see any use of that. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I just get concerned. Again, when I was involved a few years back with parent organizations in the school department, the school system. Tens of thousands of dollars are being raised in this community, throughout this community, to support and augment programs in the school department. And the school department counts on it. I mean, it really is a terrific thing and terrific efforts that are undertaken by people on behalf of the school system and the kids and classroom experience. But I remember getting in a little debate with some members of the organization that I happened to show up to a couple of meetings on. I wasn't invited back very often, but I really had a problem when they were buying copy